Hello ladies and gentlemen, Teo here, back with some more Irae. When we left off last time, we had Shido using, I don't know, some sort of not being able to die bullshit to avoid dying versus Wilhelm, and now we have hot then on Sakurai action. Sakurai and I made our way across the plaza in front of the tower all the way over to the nearby Suwahara Bridge. She was the one who led me here. Though I was trying to avoid being separated from Shido, she cunningly lured me to this place without me even realizing what she was up to. I gritted my teeth in frustration, knowing it was too late.
Shido...
Would that idiot be alright? I'd seen with my own eyes that his confidence was not misplaced, but that didn't mean he could beat Wilhelm. I hoped he would try to escape, but I also knew, irritatingly well, that he was not that kind of guy. Sakurai heaved a sigh like this was someone else's problem, despite her being the very person making me this flustered.
別に他意があったわけじゃないわよ。ただ私が戦ってるベイに近寄りたくなかっただけ。まあ、それであなたの友達がどうなるかは知らないけど。一応、もう一度だけ聞くわね、藤井君。おとなしくついてくる気、ある？そう。
Sakurai's lips formed a faint smile as she gathered the answer from my expression.
じゃあ始めようか。
She then lunged at me without even waiting for me to reply. Shit, that was fast.
さっきは手加減していたの。
Her legs slid gracefully along the ground, rising upward to deliver a kick to my solar plexus. I crossed my arms to block the attack, only to end up being launched into the air. A strike from her right fist soon followed, leaving me with no time to recover. It hit me dead on, knocking me away.
頑丈。
God damn it, this was the first time a girl had ever punched me this hard. Some guys might have been into that, but I sure as hell wasn't.
つうか、女のパンチじゃねえよ。
She did an absolute number on my chin. Hell, her punch felt strong enough to tear through iron plating. Sakurai was one of them, no doubt about it. She had enough power to kill people with ease, and had no qualms about using it.
女と殴り合うのは主義に反する？
いや。
Besides, I'm not grouping you together with normal girls anyway.
じゃあかかってきなさいよ。私、男の人のプライドを折るのはあまり好きじゃないけれど。あなたはちょっといじめたいわね。
Sakurai charged at me again, jabbing her elbow towards my stomach. She then grabbed my sleeve and lifted me up, performing a shoulder throw. The blow on my back left me choking for air as I grew dizzy from smashing the back of my head. My vision grew dark, but I still made out. I twisted my neck and dodged right before she could crush my face with her boot. The asphalt cracked with a dull sound as the impact once again sent my body flying. Sakurai caught me and hurled me aside. While trying to endure the violent pain caused by crashing into the bridge's steel frame, I recalled something Sakurai had once said. You can hardly even consider something of this caliber pain, right? Pain signaled that one's body was in danger. My arm might have been in good shape after being driven into the concrete, but the intense pain I felt was clear proof that Sakurai's attacks posed a deadly threat. Right. She was a lethal weapon. It could kill people. Just like back then. Just like him. An abnormality, the existence of which warps the very fabric of common sense.
そうだよな。
Sakurai glided toward me in pursuit. Her speed and strength were both staggering, terrifyingly so. But so were mine. How on earth could she do all this without hesitation?
喧嘩が強くて誇らしいか、桜井。
I grabbed her fist mid-punch.
殺し合いに長けているのが自慢か、お前。こんなもん、何が楽しいんだ、お前らは。
I was scared, in pain, and about to throw up. Did they get a kick out of reducing someone to a state they themselves would never want to be in? Did that make them feel alive or what? Bullshit.
その気になった？
いやおうないだろう。
She'd always been difficult to deal with in more ways than one, and the fact I kept meeting her under these circumstances only amplified it. Still, I never once lost sight of my initial goal. I remembered the rage that shook my body that night. I hadn't forgotten the vow I took. I'd teach those bastards a lesson for laying waste to our everyday lives, no matter the cost.
学校が好きとか言ってたな。
I recalled her saying she wanted to attend school some more.
残念。無理だ、諦めろ。二度とお前はあそこに行けない。
あら、どうして？
A hint of amusement slipped into Sakurai's tone, her arm still being locked in place by my hand. with my gaze a clear reflection of my burning determination, and the strength in my hand ready to crush her very bones, I went on, and put my resolve into words.
死ぬからだ
And with that, I pulled on her arm with all my might, flinging her behind me. My throw shot Sakurai right through the fence and up into the night sky. Even I found myself surprised by the ridiculous strength behind the move, but now is not the time to rack my brains over it. What I was, what I could do, and what I meant to accomplish, I'd have all the time in the world to worry over moral and ethical bullshit once this was over. For now, I'd keep myself focused on the situation at hand. In other words, I didn't care if I turned into an irredeemable piece of shit like these assholes. If I could have one wish, it would be for Kasumi and Himuro to never learn about this, about what I had become. Oh, fuck, god damn it, I turned into a bona fide lowlife myself. I dashed through the hole Sakurai made in the fence and gave myself to the air. The surface of the water was about 20 meters directly below me, and I couldn't move my body midair like she did. Sakurai, on the other hand, managed to turn around midair with little to no effort, going as far to deliver a kick towards me without any sort of foothold. What the hell kind of exquisite weight-shifting technique did she use?
さすが
Arrogant bitch. We exchanged kicks and punches while falling, and as much as it pained me to admit it, her technique far surpassed mine. But that said,
すごいやっぱり伊達じゃないあなたこそが藤井君
over the deafening howl of the wind during a rapid descent, I could make out hints of passion, admiration, and excitement in her voice. I had no idea what she was so happy about, but we'd be hitting the water in just a few moments.
あなたこそが私たちの恋人
Sakurai aimed a kick from above at the back of my head while making a comment I couldn't possibly ignore. I blocked it in the nick of time, but ended up crashing into the waves below, sending a grand column of water shooting up into the air. Gritting my teeth at my embarrassing defeat, I immediately got up and surveyed the surroundings. Where did Sakurai land?
すごいわ本当に信じられない
She was the one I couldn't believe.
たった数日でこんなにも自分がとんでもない無能に思えてくる
Sakurai was standing atop the water. Her words may have been oddly self-deriding, but her skill was certainly genuine. A girl, and one roughly around my age no less, who managed to go toe-to-toe with a bunch of war-crazed veterans of over 60 years. Was this how the so-called prodigies were?
天才ね
She wasn't making a lick of sense to me as usual.
私が今のあなたくらいのものになるまで何人殺して何年かけてきたか知らないでしょ言ってもわからないんでしょうねきっとああなんだか少しベイたちの気持ちも分かってきたあなたとても腹が立つわ
At the very same time, I could feel my breathing grow ragged, alongside an overwhelming wave of pressure that made my body feel like it was about to sink. Yet on a completely different level, I also genuinely felt something akin to a lack of oxygen.
喧嘩が強くて誇らしいかって言ったわねええ誇らしいわよだって私にはそれしかないもの
Sakurai's smile appeared faint, weak, and somewhat unstable. She'd always spouted her nonsense with that composed look of hers, but could it all have been no more than a mask? A charade on her part?
あなたみたいに血が嫌いで大事な人もそばにいてついて好かれて幸せね私みたいなのを糾弾してればさぞかし英雄気分でしょうよそうやってかっこいい自分に酔ってればいい私が現実を教えてあげる
Sakurai cast her gaze downward ever so slightly, her shoulders trembling from laughter. With a chilling smile still on her lips, she hurled her naked, exposed feelings at me.
バカらしいわあなた死んでよここならスワスチカも近い首を持って行ってあげる
At first, I didn't immediately understand what had just happened. But I was once again staring at the empty air, with the surface of the water far below me.
水蒸気爆発
Part of the sea was boiling, emitting waves of hot steam. The place I'd been standing at had turned into the pits of hell in an instant. Impossible! How in the world could she generate that much heat in a split second?
言ったでしょ睨んで燃やせる敵がいたらどうするのって
Her words cleared my doubts in an instant.
隠れて後ろから殴ればいい無理よ私そんなに鈍くないもの
Oh, that's funny. I wasn't expecting that to be, like, foreshadowing. I wasn't expecting her to just, like, tell her superpower ahead of time. The source of the inferno was Sakurai herself, capable of generating staggering levels of heat out of seemingly nowhere. Actually, not quite. I knew the source.
それが
I looked down from above.
ええ、これが
Sakurai met my gaze from below.
私の生物。継戦。
Although I'm a little bit surprised that they have like two, I don't know, fire class individuals. Like I guess when you have 13, you have to like cover the same ground. Doesn't really like there's only so many fantasy tropes to go around, but still, I'm a little bit surprised that they're overlapping there. Sakurai could condense the heat, mold it into form, and wield it as a weapon, a true embodiment of raging flames. A sword of blazing scarlet siphoning oxygen from the very air around it. No wonder I couldn't breathe earlier. It appeared I had seriously pissed her off somehow.
俺も言ったろう。お前の都合なんか知ったことかよ。
I couldn't stand her, and the feeling appeared to be mutual. I may have been overly obsessed with my peaceful life, but that didn't mean a bunch of war-crazed assholes had the right to complain about it.
ほらそうよ。そうやって結局あなたも私と一緒。自分だけが一発に愛と正義のヒーローだなんて思い上がるな。世界はそんなに単純じゃない。
She met my descent through the air with an upward swing of her blade, which I blocked with my right arm. I didn't hear the sound of tearing flesh and bone, only the metallic clang of two blades clashing against one another.
それが何よりの証拠。
Sakurai and I both found ourselves propelled backward. My right arm began to shift form in response to her bloodlust, my craving to behead my foes materializing as a blade dark as midnight, forged for the sole purpose of decapitation.
あなた戦いが好きでしょ。実は血に酔えるでしょ。でないと到底そんなもの形になんかできるはずない。
I'd had just about enough of her.
わけわかんねえこと言ってんじゃねえ。
The moment I uttered those words, I kicked off the surface of the water. There was no special trick behind it or anything of the sort. I simply kicked off the water before my legs could sink. It was, in a sense, or rather with absolute certainty, a feat of strength more overbearing than magic. However, having powers that allowed me to justify any kind of over-the-top, nonsensical feat had long since made me discard any semblance of common sense. I simply believed I could do it. A combination of my strong will and firm self-confidence gave me the impetus I needed to unleash that immense power without having anyone teach me how. I could feel my very own fighting spirit tempered by Sakurai's hostility, making me concentrate every fiber of my being on emerging victorious. Dashing across the surface of the water parallel to me, Sakurai launched a series of slashes admirable in terms of speed, yet quite easy to predict at the same time. I pegged her for the stoic type, but she seemed to have about as short a fuse as Kasumi, making her both reckless and stubborn to a fault. What was I to do next? I should have gotten used to luring quick-tempered people into traps. How would I go about angering her further? And what would I need to prioritize to achieve that? My words? Conduct? Something else entirely? We'd interacted several times before, so there had to be a hint in there somewhere. I just had to remember it. Countless memories and feelings welled up within me, forming a whirling jumble of a mess in my mind. Even after racking my brain for what felt like an eternity, I couldn't for the life of me come up with a sound enough idea to base my strategy around. All I ended up with was more violent impulses, accompanied by a thirst aching to be quenched. Why couldn't I come up with something when I needed it the most? Damn it, I couldn't think straight. Snickering, Sakurai dodged my attack with little to no effort before finally speaking up again.
無理よ。だってあなたそういうタイプみたいだから。さすがにいきなりそこまでどうにかできるほどじゃないのね。よかった。
I didn't get it. Even though her words registered in my brain, I couldn't comprehend the deeper meaning behind them. All I knew was that my attacks weren't getting through to her at all. Wait, hold on. Had my attacks been too dull and predictable compared to hers? Okay, that one's pretty egregious. Like, that one actually makes it difficult to, understand the sentence. Like, I had to think for a second before I realized that the D was supposed to be an M. Once again, I am disappointed by their, QC or QA or whatever team was in charge of that.
よほどうまく飼いならすか、それとも手綱ごと手放すか。あなたたちはそうしないとすごく半端よ。
Sakurai's attack pattern underwent an abrupt, instantaneous change. She sent a thrust my way without any prior warning, launching a kind of attack I'd never seen from her during the entirety of our scuffle. Though her blade was afire, it unleashed a chillingly perfect strike. Was she actually...
私はあなたやベイほど爆発力を持ってないから。
Despite having my ear slightly nicked off, I dodged the attack by a hair's breadth and attempted to regain my stance. However, her relentless barrage of thrusts left no room for such an opportunity. Each attack flashed with unprecedented speed, elegance, and ferocity, a merciless series of thrusts unleashed with the precision of a trained surgeon. So she really was...
見て、考えてはめるのよ。それが私の戦い方。器用貧乏だからね。
演技か。
Her curved, simple swings were all bluffs designed to lure me into a false sense of security.
全部が全部とは言わないけど、
Sakurai's lips curled into a teasing smirk.
そこは想像に任せるわ。女は秘密が多いのよ。
Sakurai's blade came extending towards me. She was aiming low, for my feet.
殺さない。けど逃がさない。
At this speed, an emergency stop was out of the question, nor could I change directions. In short, there was no way for me to dodge. And you could jump.
ゲイカの戯れを正気で乗り越えられたら褒めてあげるわ、藤井君。じゃあね、終わりよ。
At that moment, an ominous feeling of discomfort assailed me out of nowhere. Like I'd become a lab rat. A worthless creature trapped in a cage. No, that wasn't quite the best way to express it. This didn't feel like that at all. It was more like being an ant burned under a magnifying glass, watched by someone whose very gaze unleashed heat rays. I somersaulted forward, bouncing off the surface of the water like a pebble. I no longer paid any heed to Sakurai's attacks, and instead struggled with all my might to escape that inexplicable gaze. I vaulted off the surface of the water as I tumbled down, and soon enough, found myself face to face with the steel frame of the bridge towering before me. Tapping into the momentum I'd built up, I proceeded to dash up the bridge without a moment of hesitation. Hey, Mephistopheles finally showed up. How's it going, boss? I could hear Sakurai's voice and feel her pressure from behind as she came after me in pursuit. It then finally hit me that my shoulder had been wounded. She must have pierced it open during her previous attack. I wasn't sure if I could call this a lucky break, but having an injury like this, no matter how severe it might be, still beat ending up completely robbed of my mobility. If anything, Sakurai was the least of my worries now. My mind processed but one emotion: dread. My whole body was under the control of a fundamental, primal impulse, even though I hadn't been able to think straight for a while now. Or rather, that was precisely why. The urge to flee, to run, to escape, to cast aside shame and pride, never turning back. Unless I did, I'd be killed here tonight. However, a certain clingy fool was still hot in pursuit. She didn't matter one bit. I had no time to deal with her. Hadn't she noticed it? Couldn't she feel the sheer terror lurking behind that stare? That nigh irresistible lure towards death? Like the merciless pull of a black hole? Sakurai, Wilhelm, and Rusalka were formidable opponents worthy to be feared. But they all paired in comparison to the master of this gaze. What are we doing here? You're running away from Sakurai? Against my better judgment? Right, I had no time to deal with her. I twisted my body, forcing myself to take flight, away from her torrent of slashes. I was aware of how absurd this exercise was. I ran straight up at a speed fast enough to shake off gravity, then took a sharp 90-degree turn to the right without so much as slowing down, causing the law of inertia to place its burden upon my whole body, my bones and flesh creaking under the strain. My body may have been far sturdier than the average human's, but it still had its limit. After screwing up my landing and tumbling atop the bridge, I needed a few seconds to take my next move. Sakurai's calm counterattack following her deceleration canceled my own action, leaving me in no better position than before. What could I do? Sakurai had no openings, nor could I lure her into showing any. In that case, damn it, was this really my only choice? Sakurai gave me a puzzled look for a moment, and I could hardly blame her. Normally, no one would be crazy enough to do this. I'd taken a crouching start, the stance used at track and field events, capable of exhibiting the highest amount of speed at the shortest possible time. In other words, a frontal breakthrough with no planning whatsoever. The bridge was one straight line, so if I rammed into Sakurai with a dashing attack, all I had left to do was keep on going and leave her in the dust.
なるほど。
Sakurai shot a stern glare in my direction. She might have realized what I was up to. No, that couldn't be the case. No one would expect me to just try and make a run for it in this situation.
一見無茶なようで理にかなってる。確かにそれなら一撃の爆発力がものを言うから。でもね、藤井君、分かってる？狙い撃ちにされるってことが。
Yeah, of course I did. Charging at her with all my might was solely an offensive maneuver. I had nothing in the way of defense. In other words, it was like begging her to counterattack.
悪いけど、手加減できそうにないわよ。
Sakurai held her sword at the ready, lowering her hips, narrowing her eyes, and assuming a counterattack stance. I'd already mustered most of my strength, so I couldn't turn around and flee. All I'd left to do was keep on moving forward and forward without stopping. I knew I'd never overcome the fear in my heart with a half-assed attempt at fleeing. Far beyond the point of goosebumps, I had shivers running down my spine without end, while still feeling that inexplicable gaze boring down on me. I wanted to shout my true feelings at the world at large, which is why I mobilized every fiber of my being to escape this place as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'd... Mary, I'm sorry, but please lend me your power. Ah! I shot forward like a speeding bullet, the piercing echo of my war cry washing my fear clean away. Sakurai's blade moved ever so slightly before slowly shifting into a clean, sickeningly perfect arc to intercept me. The sheer elegance of her strike would have no doubt drawn praise from all who witnessed it. She was pretty damn skilled, I'd give her that, but I also remembered what she had said earlier. My strong point lay in my destructive power. She may have been a jack of all trades, but at times that would only prove to be one's undoing against an opponent with a clear-cut and thoroughly outstanding single specialty. Mary's very soul dwelled within this blade. If Sakurai genuinely thought she could shatter it, she was welcome to try. Sakurai's flash of a strike hit me in the right flank, after which she swung upward with the intention of severing my whole arm, weapon and all. But the difference in our speed, weight, maths, and strengths of our souls allowed me to knock the tip of her sword in another direction. Sakurai's expression turned to a mask of impending death, but there was nothing more I could do. I had reached my current limit. My speed and power were effective in repelling Sakurai's attack, but I didn't have the composure nor the ability to follow it up with a finishing strike. Once I'd knocked her away with my tackle, I no longer paid any heed to Sakurai. Making a run for it was my best option. I let out a shout of relief and elation, knowing my gamble had paid off. All I had left to do was get out of here, as fast as I possibly could. What are the odds that, Sakurai has access to some sort of, projectile? Just then, someone blocked my way. Who was it? A regular person? That felt the most likely, given how I didn't notice they were even here. If it was Wilhelm or Rusalka, I would have sensed them one way or another. Shit, I couldn't stop now. Whoever it was, they likely wouldn't make it out of here in one piece if I crashed into them. My eyes widened at the horror of killing an innocent person, but then... My body fell forward with an ear-splitting roar. The recoil knocked my feet in the air, and the asphalt exploded as though I'd crashed into a lump of steel. I couldn't breathe, nor could I see. A single finger counterbalanced the high-speed kinetic energy that knocked even Sakurai down with ease. I hadn't been attacked. I was merely stopped with a poke to the chest.
洞察力が足りませんね、レオンハルト。彼は逃げる気だったのですよ。それさえ読めていれば別の手もあったでしょうに。まあよくやりました。
Wow, I was expecting that to be Mephistopheles that, poked us in the chest. That was just Trifa, that's kind of scary. I didn't think Trifa was that powerful. Upon hearing that gentle, soothing voice, I couldn't match it up to the person in my memories. I didn't want to.
しかしまあ、あなたは大したものだ、藤井さん。もはや生け捕りなどという半端では手に負いかねるということですか。素晴らしい。
生産杯ゲーか。
He knew my name. Sakurai uttered his, and it remained an undeniable fact that he had stopped me with little to no effort. An abrupt onset of confusion cooled my seething mind. As the whirlpool of fear that once raged within me evaporated, I began to slowly regain my composure. But even still, much like during the incident with Kasumi, my go-to reaction was to withdraw into complete denial.
違う、そんなことが。
That just couldn't be true. Yet as my vision began to return, my hopes were shattered to pieces.
さて、それでは戯れ遊びも終わりです。改めて自己紹介をいたしましょう。私の名は生産杯。清掃13騎士団黒煙卓第3位、狩猟代行、バレリア・トリファー、クリストフ・ローエン・グリーン。あなたの父祖に等しい我が死からは、よこしまなる聖人などと呪いを賜った男ですよ。
In other words, this meant that everything, from Kasumi to Himuro, could easily be connected to this whole goddamn mess.
では、今より開戦といたしましょうか。
I was left completely paralyzed in the face of such a tremendously powerful foe. The bullet hit Wilhelm in the chest, followed rapidly by an explosion. That was not to say the bullet itself exploded, but rather a certain something planted at Wilhelm's chest. The object in question, sitting in a thermos at a freezing negative 197 degrees Celsius, was liquid nitrogen, turning him into an ice sculpture in the blink of an eye. This was Shiro's trump card. That was what was in the thermos that he was just like casually juggling? God damn it, Shiro. You're a dumbass. Swords, guns, and fists meant nothing to Wilhelm's menacing body. But what if cellular destruction through chemicals? Acid was still unreliable, while sarin gas would be too risky for Shiro. Shiro may have been reckless beyond precedent, but that didn't mean he went out of his way to die. He may have had a shit happens kind of attitude to the whole deal, but he only let that come into play once he tried everything else humanly possible. He couldn't let himself die before accomplishing his goal. In other words, he could at least tell a dumb plan from a good one. He might choose the former depending on the situation, but he could still make the distinction. And so, he chose to go with liquid nitrogen. Anything worked for a thermal attack, so after taking power, effectiveness, availability, and portability into consideration, he felt it more desirable to use a cold substance over a hot one. And naturally, liquid nitrogen was one of the coldest substances known to man. His plan entailed freezing the target, then... God damn it, Shiro. Why are you so lovable? The 1800cc engine displacement of Shiro's beloved Valkyrie Rune roared to life, spewing steel exhaust from the 350 kilogram plus flat six monster of an engine. All this had gone according to plan. Shiro accelerated his motorcycle to tremendous speed, sprung up the front wheel, and smashed the ice sculpture that was Wilhelm into millions of pieces. Or at least he should have. He made a skillful rear wheel spin turn after racing 50 meters away. Shiro stared at a part of the ice, twinkling like diamond dust, with a complex look on his face. Bah! Shiro pointed his finger like a pistol, pretending to shoot the sculpture before giving his accelerator another turn. No one pursued him. It sure seemed that way. Wilhelm simply kept standing there, completely unharmed. The low temperature and the impact didn't even hurt him, crushing only his overcoat, thus exposing his bare upper body to the moonlight. Oh baby, shirtless pics coming! He didn't give chase. His opponent may have been riding a motorcycle, but Wilhelm could have easily caught up to him in no time flat. Yet he remained still, gazing fixedly at a certain spot. He hadn't forgotten about Shiro. Rage, delight, and humiliation burned bright in his twisted heart, even now. But an abnormal event dwarfing all that had just occurred, and he wouldn't ignore it in favor of chasing some impudent prey. No one could. For all members of the Obsidian Round Table knew what this feeling was. In an event that could only be described as abnormal, Wilhelm's porcelain skin began to bleed, accompanied by intense pain. So this is I can't remember, is this a swastika opening, or this is just Mephistopheles being pissed? For it was the mark of submission, vivid proof of his first defeat, as well as his allegiance. In other words, a sign that the one that carved that mark would soon descend. Hashika. Wilhelm narrowed his eyes, struggling to suppress a chuckle.
了解しましたよ。ただ今こんななりなんで、俺がご尊顔を廃止立てまつんのはまた後日っちゅうことで。クリストフの野郎、相変わらずえげつねえ真似しやがるが。レオン死ぬんじゃねえか、腰抜かしてよ。
And with that, he vanished. The night was heavy with an inexplicable and overwhelming pressure. Like the very heavens could fall apart at any moment. To describe it as the calm before the storm, the stillness before the end, would be most apt. My pathetic lack of defense had been punished by a blow to the solar plexus. The urge to vomit assailed me as I was sent flying backward, and though I managed to land safely, I was now down on my knees, unable to get back up.
さて、ようやくおとなしくなりましたね、藤井さん。すぐには動けぬでしょうから、しばしいい子にしていなさい。
ゲイか。
ああ、あなたもですよ、レオンハルト。そう無駄に恐縮する必要はない。命令はそれを告げた者が責任を負う。あなたが悪いわけではないのだから。私が悪く、そして相手が悪かったのです。気に病むことはありません。不服でも？
いえ、申し訳ありませんでした。
Sakurai hanged her head, uttering the phrase without the slightest hint of emotion before taking a step back to silently stand at attention. Their hierarchical relationship seemed quite evident. Sakurai was treating Father Trifa as a superior. As for him...
ああ、ですから、 そういう杓子定規な対応をせずとも良いと言っているのに困りましたね。
He, and it really was him, goddammit, addressed Sakurai with the same unreliability, broad smile, and gentle tone I'd come to know him for, acting as her superior. I felt sick as the pain in my stomach had been reinvigorated by another kind of agony. Would I really have to fight him? If that wasn't enough.
まあここはあなたの理解を得られただけでもよしとしておきましょうか。藤井さん、それで聞いていると思いますが、私はあなたにお会いしてこのように語り合う場を持ちたかった。その内容は他でもない我々共通の隣人について率直に答えていただきたい。あなたはテレジアを愛していますか？
I mean, she made us free sandwiches. Like, that should give you all the information you need to know.
何？
She was someone I needed desperately to know more about, yet wanted to avoid bringing up at all costs. Teresia, in other words, Himuro.
愛だと？
ええ。あなた方の仲がいいのは知っています。友人とも、あるいはそれ以上とも。お互い憎からず思い合っているのでしょ？ならば、個人的に興味が尽きない。あなた、大義や名分が立てば、テレジアさえ殺すつもりでいるのですか？
はい。
あなたは私を憎みつつある。殺す大義を見つけつつある。そうですよ、あなたは正しい。私は害しか及ぼしません。少なくともあなたにはね。ならば結構、敵、すなわち撃滅すべし。その至極簡単な公式をあなたは彼女にも当てはめますか？すでに殺人には手を染めたでしょう。経験者として言いますが、一人殺せば止まりませんよ。と言います。今答えなさい。あなたはあのテレジアを殺さないのか殺すのか。
俺は
Still crouched and clawing at the asphalt, I looked up and bellowed with anger. I was an idiot, a fool, an imbecile, a brat, and an incompetent kid who didn't know a goddamn thing. I wasn't even sure if I'd live to the end of this, and I'd be full of myself to think I could protect and save someone. Yet even now I remembered those days. And Himuro was naturally a part of the day-to-day life I meant to reclaim. I wasn't going to listen to anyone grouping her together with these freaks.
俺は絶対お前たちに負けたりしない。たとえ何がどうなろうと俺があの人を殺すなんて。
There was only one thing I could say. Wait. What? It's like the same thing! Like, maybe the semantical difference was more pronounced in the original Japanese, but like, they mean the same bloody thing. I guess I'm going to choose can't even consider, because that is what the story demands, but like, what is this choice even?
考えられない。そんなことはありえない。
Right after I declared that. Father Trifa broke out into a maddening cackle, his body shaken and twisted with each new fit of laughter.
なるほど、なるほど、そうですか。これは、なんともはや勇ましい。負けぬと、勝つと言いますか。この私に、我々に、あなたが、愛を信じて、打倒すると、なんて眩しい。美しく羨ましく妬ましく愚かしい。実に思考。さすがはさすが。副首領閣下は愛も変わらず供しておられる。ああ、よくわかりましたよ。理解しました。それがあなたで偽りないと。ではならば、彼の言葉をお聞きになりましたか？我が主。
For a moment, I felt captivated by Father Trifa's madness, but at the same time, I came to realize something. In other words, who the abnormal gaze I'd been feeling on my skin these past few minutes belonged to.
これがあなたの盟友が大体サラトゥストラですよ。ハイドリ秘境。
The moment he uttered that word, the very canopy of the heavens appeared to tremble in response. An overwhelming pressure seized me, threatening to crush my very bones, almost like the skies themselves had fallen. I found myself pinned to the ground, unable to move as cracks ran through the asphalt around me. The bridge and the seas below howled, thousands of tons of steel and concrete rent asunder by the very presence of a certain being.
率直なご感想をお尋ねしたくありますね。どうでした？
悪くない。
Only Father Trifa remained detached from the pressure ravaging Sakurai and me. A voice echoed from above him. A grand whirlpool of gold, or perhaps a hole? The projection began to take form before my eyes, assuming the shape of a man. A man of such tall stature I'd probably have to look up high to see him, even if I was standing. His physique appeared quite proportionate as well, almost like it represented the golden mean of the human body. His golden locks looked like a terrible mane behind him, dancing wildly in the night air, his features beautiful enough to drive one to suicide. His physical build exhibited no flaws whatsoever. His narrow slits revealed a pair of golden eyes gazing calmly upon the world below, their glimmer the light of hellfire. I had no doubt in my mind that this guy was those bastards. I quickly recalled that there was a man by that name known as Totenkopf's Black Prince and the Hangman.
清掃13騎士団国安卓第1位ハガルヘルツォークラインハルト・トリスタン・オイゲン・ハイドリヒ
Wait, this guy has 6 names! Like, at least the other people had the decency to keep it to 4. What's wrong with you, Heydrich? What's wrong with you?
メフィストフェレスなどと K の演者に祝福された曰く悪魔のような男らしい
And that makes 7! Reinhard Heydrich, the true commander of the Obsidian Round Table. His advent left me thoroughly paralyzed. But an unexpected, or perhaps planned, turn of events suddenly intervened, shattering the status quo. An intruder that no one, not even myself, expected cleaved through the darkness, becoming a dazzling light of hope in the wake of roaring exhaust.
レイ、このバカ野郎、気合い入れろ!
As merciless and disparaging his words may have been, they filled me with renewed vigor, breathing fresh life into my mind before it could fall into collapse.
ほ
これはこれは。
Determined not to lose to the monster's pressure, I looked up, put my hands on the ground, and pushed up with all my might. If I mustered every fiber of my being to strike away this fear, I could counter his presence. If a human like Shido could do it, there's no way in hell I couldn't.
引くぞ、乗れ!
Shido spread down from the opposite lane, clearing the separated half of the bridge and landed right next to me. Just as I grabbed hold of his outstretched hand, he pulled me into the back seat with surprising strength.
生きてるか? なんとか。
But that was my limit. I had no strength to maintain a proper conversation.
よっしゃ、振り落とされんなよ!
Perhaps Shido was in a similar position to my own. He went into full throttle right away without sparing Reinhardt or Father Trifa a single glance or word. The Valhalla, or was it Valkyrie? Anyway, the motorcycle raged with an explosion for a roar. All we had to do was retreat at full speed. If I got into a fight with that thing, I would have been blown to smithereens even if there were 100 of me. He was not an opponent I could take, and there was no chance of revenge waiting after certain death. I couldn't beat him, at least not now. Not yet. He was not an opponent I could topple. I looked down, letting my feeble complaints melt into the whir of the engine. I wasn't trying to take these bastards lightly, and I thought I'd prepared myself for anything thrown at me. It wasn't like I actually defeated Sakurai or Wilhelm, but I didn't know if I even could. But I had at least the means to engage them in battle. Yet I lost my cool mere seconds after Father Trifa's arrival, and got entirely too worked up at the mere mention of Himuro's name. And then after all that, Reinhardt...
何あれ俺の金玉縮みやがったぞ
Shido cleared the bridge in a blink of an eye and spoke up once he'd confirmed there was no one following us.
いやマジちょっとちびったっつーの
It's too dark, I can't tell. I was over here wallowing in shame and depression, yet this guy...
実は俺もだ。
あマジで汚すなよ
うるせえ、仕方ないだろ。
バカスミに笑われるぜ
だからお前は。
Before I could finish, it hit me just how utterly silly the whole thing was. Until a short while ago, we'd been worrying about whether or not we'd die, and now, god damn it, this was really fucking stupid. Well, I'm apparently not getting a Shido route, so I'm gonna have to take my victories where I can. Look, they're adorable. We got scared and ran away with our tails between our legs, but fuck it, we were still alive. True, it may have looked like an utter defeat on the outside, but when considering that we just survived such a dangerous experience, it could definitely be counted as a victory. It wasn't mere luck. We could proudly declare that our very own efforts helped us live through the night. So...
お前だってちびってるくせにカッコつけんなバカ。
アホ俺はクールに報告したからいいんだよあとキャラ的に実はお前和ますために嘘を言ったとかそういう見方してくれっかもしんないだろ
誰にだよ。
誰ってほら世のお姉さん方だよ
わけわかんねえよ相変わらず。
And, well, he did actually save my life today. Putting aside all the trouble he dragged me into in the past, I now felt grateful to him.
これでちった気が変わったか
ああ。っていうかもういやおうないだろ
ご名答じゃあまコンビ再結成ってことで命名チームベアウォルフいい感じじゃねドイツ語的に
Ah, so that's where the name of the other story came from, because that is the title of the side story I'm going to be reading after this route, is werewolf. Oh, that's funny. That's probably what the English word werewolf is. It's like probably the root of the word werewolf. That's funny. That sounded horrible. If possible, I would have liked to avoid anything German sounding at the moment for obvious reasons.
俺はおまけか。
だってそうだろ
お前がおまけだ。
No, I'm pretty sure Shiro's the protagonist. You're just some rando with a guillotine.
はあ何言ってんすか
We raced down the moonlit highway, having a little childish argument. We were fleeing like a pair of cowards, but at the very least, we had this brief moment of respite. In hindsight, we fled for a reason, to build up and gather our strength for the next confrontation. Breaking his gaze from the gradually fading taillights, the priest turned to the figure beside him. The Reinhardt Heydrich standing next to him was but an illusion, a false image. Even a quick glance revealed it to be transparent. In other words, he was a shade of his true self that wouldn't last more than a handful of minutes at best. Despite that, the boy was no match even for his current state.
ご不満ですかハイドリヒ教
The priest posed a respectful question towards his lord.
K は私の言葉を聞いていなかったのか生産杯悪くないと先ほど言ったばかりであろうが
ですがご満足はしておられぬご様子
Though not with perfect clarity, Trifa could understand his master to a certain degree. At the very least, he knew that an ant like himself was no prey for the lion of Reinhardt Heydrich.
わかるか
Reinhardt gave Trifa a sidelong glance alongside a sneer, to which the latter replied with a nod, daring not to look his master in the eye.
いくらか脅せばもう一化けするかとも思ったがなまあよい確かに K の進言通りいささか私が請求だった引き続き遊ぶがよい蝶の空とやら飛ぶがよかろう私は K の正義を見届ける
では
あだがな
The golden beast stopped the priest just as the latter turned to leave. There was no meaning to that action as far as continuing the conversation was concerned. There was still a meaning to stopping there. For a certain girl remained prostrated at his feet, her gaze fixed on the ground. Kei Sakurai felt thoroughly overwhelmed by the stark difference between her power and that of the beast, and thus she came to feel the very dread the others had already known these past 60 years. Reinhardt displayed neither contempt nor concern for her puny, trembling figure. He merely passed through her, quite literally, while addressing the priest, regarding her the same way one would a pebble on the sidewalk.
一つ 命令だ。カインを起こせ。
What meaning did those words ultimately carry? Kay's trembling ceased for a heartbeat, only returned again, albeit somewhat differently.
カインを
得意の開玉か、生産杯。ならば、これはヴァルキュリアに相違ないと。
ああ、いえ、これは報告が遅れまして申し訳ありません。それはレオンハルト、バルキュリア、キルヒアイゼン卿は見まかられましたゆえ、私めが補充した次第にございます。
Huh. I wonder how she died. I assume we're gonna find out at some point.
長女、ならばこそだ。K も励むがいい、レオンハルト。
Reinhardt walked past the prostrating Kay and the expressionless priest with a coaxing smile. His silhouette began to grow dim, melting away into the darkness. Yet moments before that golden afterglow could disperse for good.
楽しませろよ、生産杯。K の手並みに期待しよう。
And with that, he vanished without a trace.
やれやれ。
Once a handful of seconds had passed, Trifa shrugged, breathing a heavy sigh.
相変わらず心臓に悪い。肝が凍るし肩も凝る。全く健康に悪いお方ですよ。
The crushing sense of oppression constantly emitted by the beast had completely faded. This was likely a sign that he had withdrawn for the time being. However,
まあ、お立ちなさい、レオンハルト。ああ、立てませんか。どれ。
he approached the pitifully prostrating girl, took her by the arm, and brought her to her feet.
見たでしょう。あれがハイドリ秘境です。
Kay hanged her head without uttering a single word. She was trying her best to remain calm, yet it was quite clear that she had suffered an extraordinary shock. Trifa placed a hand upon her hair like a compassionate father.
恥じることはありません。我々は皆そうです。私も、ベイも、マレウスも、キルヒアイゼン卿やザミエル卿、そしてシュライバー卿に至るまで、彼と初めて会った時は強行してひざまずいた。あれはね、レオンハルト、違うのですよ。
違う。
The priest nodded, his gentle features contorting ever so slightly. Though his affirmation could be considered a show of disrespect towards his lord and master, there was no one here who could deny him. Or perhaps anywhere in the world.
世の中には最初から違うものがごく少数。しかし確実に存在すると私は思っているのです。彼は中でも徹底してそうなのでしょうね。副首領閣下もまたしかり。我々にとって神とは祈るものですが、あなた方にとっては祭り、鎮めるものでしょう。つまり、お願いだから暴れてくれるな、そうしたものだと思いなさい。
ですが、
The priest's words were brimming with affection, but Kay rebutted them. She fully understood what the priest implied, sympathizing with the idea that gods need to be appeased. Monotheism amounted to no more than blind faith akin to intoxication.
ですが、実際に我々はハイドリ秘境を信じ祈らねばならないのでしょう。そうしなければ。
ああ、ですから、要は加減ですよ。バランスです。言ったでしょう。臨機応変。あまり真面目に考えていては、先ほどのように息もできなくなりますよ。調子よく逃げたベイや、そもそも気もしなかったマレウスらの賢明さを学びなさい。ともかく、逃げ遅れた我々は、せねばならぬこともありますしね。
はい。
Kay nodded, withholding her prior question. She felt like she ended up playing right into his hands, but there were no lies in his words. They indeed had things of vital importance to take care of.
では、一足先に戻りなさい。そして、バビロンにその旨伝えておくように。まあ、以心伝心。言われるまでもなくそうしているとは思いますがね。どうしました？行きなさい。
わかりました。
Kay nodded again before making her soundless exit. Once the girl was out of sight, the priest heaved a sigh.
だがさて、ハイドリ秘境。何を言わんとしておられたのか。
Kane, Kay, Valkyria. He spoke as if he were implying something about them. Trifa wondered if Reinhardt knew something he didn't. Still, the priest would not have been too surprised to have his schemes be discovered.
まあよい。楽しませよとおっしゃるならば、できうる限り励みましょう。
Man,
それが私の務めです。
I'm pretty excited to see what Trifa is plotting.
しかし、とはいえ、いかがすればよいのやら。
Trifa muttered to himself with a sense of prudence before beginning to walk off again. At any rate, he was relieved that they were all lucky enough to overcome that which may have been the first and greatest danger in this war.
私の行いがいいわけなどありませんから、多分あなたのおかげなのでしょうね。藤井さん、その一点については同志ということ。機会が許せば乾杯したいところですよ。
Secretly. And they would no doubt share a heartfelt laugh. If matters ever settle themselves as such that day... If matters ever settle themselves as such that day like that... I'm having difficulty parsing this sentence. If matters ever settle themselves as such that a day like that... Okay. If matters ever settle themselves as such that a day like that truly came to pass, it would doubtless prove to be the most blissful moment in the priest's life. Sorry, brain fart there. I like that gunshot. Dur LDO in Shambhala, 9 of 13. Oh, that's the abbreviation for the stupid, long-ass group name that I can't remember off the top of my head. I've been, wondering what this, Dur LDO thing has been, the whole time. But it's the Dur Longinus Orden something or another. That makes so much sense. Swastika 2 out of 8. I guess the, swastika near the bridge that didn't end up finishing. Chapter 6, Lord of the Dead, end. Oh, I unlocked another other story. Die Morgendammerung. When do I read that? That's going to be not for quite a while. It's going to be after I finish all 4 routes. But that seems like a pretty reasonable stopping point, so we'll pick up again tomorrow. Probably with Chapter 7. That would make sense, given that 7 comes after 6.